Hey everybody, I'm Wayward Jessica 29, and this is not your safe zone. Tonight we are going to get into the topic. We are continuing the conversation of tensions in the Black community, and tonight we are going to be hearing from some beautiful mixed women. And here they are. We've got Nola Creole VB, or as I like to call her V. We've got Eb underscore Ready, and we've got the lovely Key. How y'all ladies doing tonight?
Good.
Doing good.
Keith, since you haven't been on here yet, did you want to introduce yourself?
Um, I don't know what to say. Like, what do you want? What should I introduce? Like, just say a little bit about myself.
Yeah, just say a little bit about yourself and let the people know who you are a little bit.
Okay. Hi, my name's Kiana. I'm from Chicago. Um, yeah, that's about it. I don't know what much to say. Um, yeah, that's it.
Short, sweet, simple, and to the point. We are waiting on another panelist to come in. However, why don't we get into it while we're waiting for her? So, everybody here on the panel is mixed. V is Creole, Eb is black and white, and Key is black and white, and I myself am black and white. So let me ask y'all this. What was your experience growing up as a mixed person in the Black community and in just your experience growing up in society, period? How were you seen type thing? What things did you experience? Who wants to go first? I will so pick. Don't make me pick. Eb, I see you shaking your head. So how about you, girl?
Why me though? Like,
Because you shook your
I was
head.
shaking my head like, no, not me first. So I tell people this all the time. Like, I've always been Black. You know, even in the midst of not being Black enough for Black people, I grew up as a Black kid with a white mom. Um, and I was always Black to white people. So all my experiences really stem from the racism that I've gotten from white people. So that's about it.
And looks like Jess is having some issues with trying to get her back in. Jess, can you hear us? Okay.
Well, B, go ahead. Tell about your experience.
Okay, there we go. So that's all you gonna give me. Hold on, that's all you gonna give me, Eb.
I don't know how specific you want me to be. It's such a broad question. Like I need you like
what was your experience growing up as a mixed person, not only in the Black community, but how you operated in society?
Again, like overall, I've always maneuvered through life as a Black person. So while I don't walk around this bitch like I got two Black parents, I understand that. But that's always how I've been treated. Until recently, really, that it was a whole, of course, I can't speak for y'all, but like I did go through a stage in my life where it was, oh my God, who am I? What am I? The white family, I realized I'm different because of the white family. You know what I mean? But in the same sense, you still had I grew up in a time where, there was not a lot of friendships between white and Black people. And if they were friends in school, there was no staying at each other's houses, that sort of thing. I come from a small town. It's very racist there. You know what I'm saying? But I was always a Black kid. But in that same sense, it was always certain things I could not or should not be talking about because I'm not Black enough. So that was one of my main struggles, especially the way I like to talk about certain shit. You know what I mean?
I get that. So after some technical difficulties, our final panelist has arrived. I can't talk today. Look, I did so much with this makeup. I can't talk. Okay. Leilana Legend, how you doing, girl?
Doing good, doing good. How's it going?
It's going all right. Do you want to introduce yourself to our viewers and kind of let us know. So the question was, what was your experience growing up as a mixed woman? And like between the Black community and just how you operated in society.
Okay. I'm Leilana. You can find me on TikTok, Leilana_legend. I kind of have like I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. So I kind of had a really weird experience because I experienced a lot of racism because I was in a white community. I've just experienced it basically my entire life, and not being accepted by either sides, and then also by white people as well.
Yeah, that seems to be common for us who have grown up in predominantly white areas. Who wants to go next? Key V. Go ahead, Key.
So for me, I grew up in a predominantly white area. I wouldn't say that my family always saw me as Black. To them, like, actually, I don't know. I think they did always see me as Black, but they always told me that I was raised white. So for them, my identity, any way I would act, I was always, to them, I needed to act white. But as far as like the Black community goes, I've always been seen as Black. Growing up, I never really had a hard time with having my Black friends would never refer to me as like white. They just see me as Black. But growing up in a predominantly white area, yeah, I would say like people just looked at me as Black. The most racism I got was actually, even though my family told me I was white, the microaggressions I got for them always let me know that I was Black to them. Yeah.
And you and I have talked about this off screen before. I've had a similar upbringing. And for people who have watched before, y'all already know that I was raised by a parent that, didn't see color. And we're going to talk about how that affects us growing up. But last but definitely not least is my girl V. What you got for me, girl?
All right, so my experience is really different. I grew up in Louisiana, like 20, 30 minutes from New Orleans. My family is from New Orleans in a town called Slidell on my mom's side, and my dad's side is from Booty Luling area. So they're very small communities, but they are very rich in their culture, and the cultures that I grew up around were Cajun and Creole. Cajun was more my white side because my father was Cajun, and Creole was my mom's side. That's more of my Black side. I always assimilated more with my Black side of my family because they were more accepting of me. No matter what I looked like to them, I was still Black. My first experience with racism was actually with my grandfather. He called us the hard ER words, me and my brother at one time, and it was kind of random. But at that point, I knew he looked at us different. And I knew no matter what we looked like, we were going to be treated different to certain people. But most of the time, I don't experience racism in the ways that most people would assume. People come up to me and just tell me they just show me their racism. They don't really express it to me, that because they look at me and they automatically assume I am one of them. And most of the time they get the New Orleans attitude comes out real quick, and it's more or less, bitch, my mama Black, my child is Black, what's up, let's fight type of situation. So I don't talk much. I'm very good with my hands. So my clapback has gotten better though over the years. So I've learned to control that. I have a kid now.
Yeah, you and my baby John are both our super spies. Yeah, so and that was actually going to be my next question for you ladies. When was the first time that y'all experienced racism? Because let's face it, at the end of the day, whether you look like Key, whether you look like Leilana, whether you look like Eb, whether you look like me, we're seen as Black. So when was the first time y'all experienced racism? Who would like to share first? I will so pick.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So the first time was with my mother's side of the family. You know, I was young. I didn't understand what like microaggressions and things were at that point. But now that I look back, I realized I got a lot of those. But it wasn't until they started calling me the N-word with the hard ER that I was like, oh, damn. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So it came from them. That's how I knew, because these were the only white people that I was around. So.
Well, and you had a really, I know you've talked about it in your lives on TikTok. You had a really scary experience with racism at one point, living in the center of the Mayo militia down there, right?
Oh, do you want me to tell about it?
You go ahead.
Okay, so again, I grew up in the country, even though some people think that Virginia is not the country. It is. I grew up in the South. But my dad was, obviously he's a Black man. And, my parents were separated. So a lot of people always try to equate, you're just Black because, they know your dad. But this was during a time when my parents were not together. Like the KKK literally burned a cross in my yard and stood across the street fully, because that's the type of environment that we lived in. There were like active meetings that people were not trying to like hide. So, yeah.
Yeah, that I cannot imagine that. I knew I grew up in a racist area, but that, look, the way I talk about this with my brother sometimes. I would have not survived slavery because the way my mouth and these hands are built, I wouldn't have fucking made it. They would have thrown my ass off the ship. Okay. I would have been one of the reasons why the shark migration has changed. Who wants to go next? Go ahead, Leilana.
I think I was around like 9 or 10, and I was playing over at my friend's house, and we're in the front yard, and we're kind of like, her older brother had a blanket laid out, and we were gonna sit on it, and he didn't want me to sit on it because he was afraid my color was gonna rub off on his blanket, and I didn't understand at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I was just a kid, and that just like threw me off, because that's when
But did you punch him?
No, I was not like, I got more rough around the edges with time. I was a little like, happy kid. And then all of a sudden that kind of reality comes out. You're like, oh, like people are like that. So and that was like my first experience.
And I just want to touch on that a little bit. I don't think people realize that us growing up mixed, not only do we have to deal with the racism that comes with being Black, especially if you are Black presenting, or like, for instance, V, she opens her mouth, you can tell that, she's speaking through the ancestors. But also because of the tensions in the Black community and the mistrust of mixed people and the gatekeeping, we also have that to deal with as well. Me personally, to the Black community, I have always been Black until TikTok, which I think is mad fucking weird. But yeah, sorry, Eb, I stole your little soundbite. I'm sorry. But it is what it is. But yeah, so I think people don't understand, like, we get pushed from both sides, so and that's kind of what I want to talk a little bit about today, is to bring that awareness. So but continuing the conversation, Key, V, what y'all got for me?
So I wouldn't say, I don't really remember the first time I experienced racism necessarily. Majority of the time, my friends have always been Black, so I really didn't have to deal with it as a child. But I would say that, like, when I was younger, now looking back at it, I feel like the first encounter I had to deal with racism was from my mom, because when I was younger, I was never allowed to have long hair. My mom cut all my hair off. I remember I cried because she left just a little bit, just enough. She was like, it's so cute, just enough little curls you can put barrettes in it. I was never allowed to have long hair because my hair was nappy. And every summer, I lived in Arizona. Okay, so like if you know Arizona heat, like I'm in the sun 24/7. So growing up, my mom would always refer to me as like, if I get too dark, I'm burnt. If it's everything, like growing up, so many microaggressions, and like now that I look back at it, that was really the first time I experienced racism was from my own mother growing up. So
Oh, go ahead, V.
Oh, well, I mean, I talked about mine a little bit, but basically what happened, me and my brother went with my dad and my grandfather for a family reunion on my grandfather's side in West Virginia. And I'm sure Eb can attest to this, that is not a very welcoming place of the BIPOC community. Uh, so my grandfather, I guess, got in his feelings and had a little too much liquid courage and decided to express himself in front of his family. But my dad did step in and kind of like diffuse the situation. But I was maybe like 7 or 8, and my brother was like 9 or 10. And yeah, it was both of us. We were two little hard ER kids, and we needed to take our black ASSs back to Louisiana. So it was one of those moments.
Yeah. I think I've talked about my first experience with racism. But like he said, I had a lot of microaggressions coming from my mom that she was not aware of. My mom started relaxing my hair at 7. And then she would cut it real short. So, like, sorry, my kid came in. I gotta be honest, my kid came in and I got distracted. Anyway, my mom would cut my hair short because it was too difficult to take care of. It was nappy, stuff like that. Either that or she would put relaxer on my head. So I think that definitely speaks to there are some people who shouldn't have mixed kids. My mom was definitely one of them, and she knows this. I've told her. And if she's watching, hi, Mom. I said what I said. Anyhow, so I'm gonna bring something up, and can we put all the ladies on the screen real quick?
Got you,
I want to
got you.
see. Thank you. I want to see y'all's reaction. Let's talk about the word mulatto. Yeah, I see you, Eb. Let's talk about it.
Oh
Now,
no.
there are some people who think that they so woke they need to take a motherfucking nap. And they think that they can claim to be pro-black while still using terms of the oppressor, not realizing that my ass still would have been on the ship with you. So, how do y'all feel about people using the word mulatto? And is it different between white people using it and black people using it? How do y'all feel? Who want to start?
Go ahead, V. Go ahead.
Eb, stay ready for that one.
Of us. I knew it was gonna be one of us to go first. So Louisiana has a little different history. There was like a group that called themselves the mulattoes. But if a motherfucker call me a mulatto, we fighting. I don't care if you black or white or indifferent. I'm gonna knock you out. I am not a mulatto. That is a derogatory word. And if you say that to me, you getting slapped. Period. Not taking it. Sorry, that's all I had to say.
Period with a T on the end of it. I know, Auntie. I know. But people keep on thinking it's okay to use that word. Because,
Y'all got Auntie cussing in the comment section.
Literally. No, AJ, you good. So Erica, yes, people would refer to mixed children as mutts or mulatto. Mulatto literally means, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, it's a donkey and a horse hybrid. So it's literally dehumanizing.
I actually pulled up the history and the definition of that word. I can even screen share it if you'd like me to.
Yes, please.
Gotcha. I'll pull it up in a second. But y'all continue. Y'all doing great, by the way.
So who else want to give their opinion on that word? I know Ed was ready. You want to go, Ed?
I'm gonna just make it simple. You can't be for Black people and still use oppressive language. Like you can't do that. So people equate that word also to like using the N-word, right? I don't know if y'all have heard that, but that's what has been done. You know, the N-word being a word that was reclaimed by Black people to use with, you know, within the Black community or whatever. This word has never, not once in the grand history of anybody speaking been okay to say. So the fact that because someone who is white and or more melanated than the people in which they're speaking of think it's okay to say, fuck that. Like, I don't know why that's okay. It's literally not only oppressive language, but like you said, it's dehumanizing. It's equating us to something that's not even a fucking human being. It's an animal.
Exactly. And I find it funny that, you know what, this is not your safe zone. Glam Melanin. I find it very fucking funny that you went ahead and you sat there and you literally pulled the same white mentality by saying, I said what I said, but I have a light-skinned daughter. You got a Black friend too? Come on now.
Don't
hold on. Your message was very valid. I agreed with your entire message. However, how are you going to have that message and then use those oppressive terms? Make it make sense, girl. That's all I'm going to say about that. Who want to give their opinion next?
There's a tree in the road, by the way. Caution, there is a tree in the road.
Look, I hit it in the face with it. And who want to go next?
I will definitely be extremely offended if anyone refers to me as mulatto. Just like y'all said, it's very dehumanizing. It's like equivalent to calling like a mixed person a mutt. It's disrespectful. We are humans, okay? Like, yes, we are made up of 2 or more races, but just because we are does not make us less than human. Okay? I don't like that term. I don't want to be called that term. To me, that's like equivalent to calling me a mutt, like just a dog, like you see on the street. Like, do not refer to me as that. Yeah.
All right. Casper, you can go ahead and pull it up, please.
Got you. Give me a second.
Can we please give Casper his flowers for helping
Oh my
out,
God! Stop!
I'm never gonna stop, sir. Okay.
Why Black people can't have nice things.
Look, I'm blind. I cannot see on that tiny screen.
I got you. Okay, so, and I can read it out loud for you. So, mulatto, definition of mulatto, usually offensive. The first generation offspring of a Black person and a white person, person of mixed white and Black ancestry. First used in 1591 in the meaning defined in sense 1. Refers to a mule or mulus for Latin terms, essentially. So yeah, we're talking about a word from like pretty much like right before slavery, like before the draft started of slavery. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, essentially.
Right. And yeah, that part, Eb. She said, we're Black, and then still chose to use those oppressive terms. And she decided to shit on light-skinned people too. Like fully Black, light-skinned people. Why? I understand that there is definitely a lot of colorism in our community. I want to be clear on that. However, I think that how are you going to sit there and be like, we are the world and the Black community needs to come together, but then you're going to sit there and refer to part of the African diaspora as these oppressive terms? How can you sit there and say that you want you want for Black liberation, Black excellence, and use these white oppressive terms and otherize your own people?
I think. Oh,
go ahead, Keith.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I think when we're talking about colorism, the idea is we're trying to eliminate colorism, right? We're not trying to reverse it. You know what I mean? Like, we're not trying to change where it's like light skin's at the bottom, now dark skin's at the top. We're trying to make it so it's an even playing field. And I think when you start to get into calling like mixed children and dehumanizing light skins, it's not going to make the situation any better, and it's not going to fix colorism. That's all I wanted to put in.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. How can you sit there and say that we as Black people need to stick together, but then it's not even like you was trying to like call us in or have a conversation? Nah, you just wanted an excuse to use those motherfucking words. Who is the woman that Glam Melanin? She is, for anybody that isn't aware, she is a dark-skinned woman who is a creator on TikTok. She usually has very good views and messages, and like I said, her message in that video was valid. It was her delivery by saying those oppressive terms, referring to people who are mixed and no, I don't have the video, Casper. Referring to people who are mixed and light skinned. So to me, it came off as contradictory. So does anybody else have an opinion on that? Leilana, I don't think you gave your opinion, girl.
I just think it's a disrespectful word. I think it's like referring to Asians as Oriental, like it's mixed people aren't a thing. And I feel like when someone's using that word, they know it's offensive, you know, like it's 2021. How do you not know that word is inappropriate? I don't like it.
I just see it like this. If I were to sit there and I were to use terms that were derogatory to a dark-skinned person, I would be read to fucking filth. I'd probably be doxxed shit, because apparently that's the new thing on TikTok. But everybody,
these trees you throw in tonight. Okay.
Look, I said what I said. But the fact that you're going to sit there and people are making excuses for her when literally nobody was disagreeing with her message. There is a lot of colorism coming from people that look like me, that look like Key, that look like, you know, V, Eb, and Leilana. It's disgusting. However, what you're not going to do is sit there and use these oppressive terms and then act like you didn't do shit wrong. That's stupid as fuck. Hold yourself accountable. I mean, you keep whining that other people need to hold themselves accountable. So maybe you should try to start. I'm just saying. Yes, Cannon, I'm talking spicy today. Like McDonald's Sprite, spicy. But let's discuss why there is such a strong mistrust for people like us in the fully Black community, because there is, and it's valid. But I think at the same time, the gatekeeping of it does more harm than protects the Black community, if that makes sense. Y'all will be quick to push out mixed people of the fully Black community and then essentially tell them that they're not Black and then whine and cry when they say some dumb white shit. So my kids. So what did I say? So do you think that the fully Black community is pushing out mixed gatekeeping and pushing out mixed people? Look, Erica, I'm in Wisconsin, okay? And I've always been seen as Black. I'm seen as Black when I go visit my family in Detroit and whenever I'm walking around Detroit. And geographical location does have something to do with it. Like I said, I never experienced this until I got on TikTok and people just, they hide behind a fake profile picture and be loud and fucking wrong. But it's still harmful. And I know that people do go through this in real life. So what are y'all's thoughts on gatekeeping in the Black community? Basically being told that you're not Black enough. Who want to go first?
I mean, I'll take the floor real quick. Like I said, it's a little different where I come from, and geographical location does have a lot to do with it. Like I said, 20, 30 minutes from New Orleans. The heritage we have down here has always been a mixture. So we don't really see a lot of gatekeeping in our community per se, especially in the Creole and the Cajun communities, because we will give you the recipes if you want them. Just ask for it. We'll give you the books and the history about it if you want to just ask for it. But I'd never felt pushed out by the Black community in general. I've always felt accepted by the Black community, more so than the white community, especially once they know my ideals and my views. And it doesn't take long for those to come out. So I don't really see a lot of gatekeeping from, like, to me, unless they're doing it on TikTok. I mean, which I don't really pay attention to what they say in my comments half the time. So, yeah. But I do think, one more thing, I do think that a lot of the people nowadays hide behind that computer and say stuff just to say it and get a rise out of people. You got to think about it. I'm older than Google. So I've been doing this. I've been seeing people mess over people on the internet since the internet became the internet and became public. So when it became public, I was a child. I've been doing this. I know what to see and what to do. MySpace did the same thing. Facebook did the same thing. Instagram did the same thing. Now we just on TikTok. It's another platform. They're going to do the same thing. They have nothing else to do with their lives but sit behind their computer or their phone and get a rise out of you because you letting them. And some of their stuff makes sense in their mind and they just want to keep it going because they stupid and they don't want to educate themselves. And some of their stuff they just say because they want to rise out of you. But yeah, that's it.
So I want to bring this comment to light. There is a bias in the Black community. They pick and choose who they want to say is Black and who isn't, and it is not fair. There is a lot of jealousy. So in regards to that, I want to say this. Y'all will literally sit there and fetishize my skin, my features. Y'all will say that I'm Black until you're blue in the face, until I say something that you don't like, and then I'm not Black. Or you'll find out that I like Harry Potter or fucking Lord of the Rings, and you'll say I'm not Black. At what point did we subscribe to white supremacy stereotypes of Black people and use that to gatekeep other Black people? I'm just wondering. Can anybody answer in the comments? I'd love to know. But Casper, you better stop. But yes, and the fact that I've noticed in the Black community, you have to be a certain shade of Black. You have to be brown skin because you'll be colorist to a dark skinned person. You will negate some mixed person's blackness, even if that's all they're seen as in society. And I can we fix it? Can we fix it? Because that's, how are you going to shit on your own people? You're going to shit on a woman who's dark skinned when you came out of a dark skinned woman. How? I'm done with you, Casper. Yes, the paper bag test. Yes. So not only does that do harm to the mixed community, but I also want to say that it also does harm to the dark skin community, because some of y'all have this idea of what black should look like, and my black does not need to look like your black. Yes, Amethyst, I got my Slytherin makeup on. So who would like to speak on this next?
I never experienced really gatekeeping until TikTok. I've never had someone come like say to my face like, "You're not black," because it's like, okay, but I am. Like, I don't know, like how am I supposed to answer that question when someone says, "Are you black?" I'm gonna say yes. That's like when I was on TikTok, someone jumped on that question and it kind of snowballed into something else entirely. But a white person asked me if I was black, and the answer to that is always going to be yes. I don't feel like I have to explain further my mixes. Like either way, I'm black or Asian. Like I feel like I don't have to clarify. And then like the gatekeeping on TikTok, I mean, they can try to gatekeep, but it's my culture, so I'm still gonna be me anyways. Like
say that part again. Say that part one more time for the people in the fucking back who aren't paying attention. Say it again, girl.
Yeah, you can gatekeep all you want, but like I'm black and that's my culture. Like I'm gonna access it. I don't really give a fuck what anyone says. Like, I don't care if I don't act black because I don't know what that means either. Like, what's that supposed to fucking mean? Like, at the end of the day, I have a black father, a Japanese mom, and this is who I am. Like, you can't gatekeep something that is also mine as well. And that's all I have to say about that. But yeah, it's only happened on TikTok, not other places, other spaces for me.
And I noticed that nobody has the balls to say this to our faces. They only want to say it behind a keyboard. Yeah. Yeah, here go another tree. You might as well just keep that up, because I'm gonna be shady as hell all day. Nobody says this shit to our faces. And because they know it's dumb as fuck. Because I'm gonna say this: put up that tree warning. Put up that tree warning. If y'all want to sit here and say that I'm not black enough because I got a white mom, look at your motherfucking genealogy. Because if you are ADOS, you have white genes in your fucking history. You have that in your ancestry, because slave masters went ahead and raped our women. Slave masters had their way with their slaves. So, and y'all want to sit there and say that we are the blueprint. We carry the Eve gene. We can give birth to any shade, color, hair texture, everything, because a black woman was the center of all life. But then you want to sit there and say that if you don't look like my black, you're not black. Make that fucking make sense. Anyhow, who want to go next?
Speaking of this topic, it's bringing back, okay, Ab, that video that you posted, I think you did like a panel back a few weeks ago, and there was a video, and it was a girl, she was talking about how the one drop rule of I shouldn't even say that, of what, okay, I'll say like the white supremacy, how white supremacy, it used to be like a small amount of people were able to claim whiteness, and how white supremacy ended up growing and including more white people. Well, how the black community is operating now is that they're flipping that, and now only a certain amount of a group of people are considered black. Anything outside of that spectrum can't claim blackness. it's like we're redefining what being black is, and I don't like that. And if you fall outside these lines, you're no longer black, and it makes no sense at all. I don't understand it at all. And it's not even just like as far as skin tone. It's also if you like certain things, you act a certain way. Like we have adopted all these stereotypes that now if any black person falls outside of our stereotypes created by white people, mind you, they're not black enough. That's so corny to me, and I don't understand that.
And that's what I'm saying. Because I'm gonna say this. Y'all want to sit there and put black women in a box and tell them that if they date outside their race, they can't be pro-black. Or they can date one race but not the other. How the hell can you sit there and say that you're pro-black and you fight for black liberation and black excellence while ignoring that injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere? Because other POC communities have gone through injustice, are still going through injustice. Yes, I understand shit sucks for us right now. However, you thinking that who the hell is between my legs means whether or not I give a fuck about black people, we ain't worried about the same motherfucking thing. Because trust and believe, whoever I choose goes in between my legs is going to be sitting there wanting to fight for the same thing that I'm fighting for. Because at the end of the day, I still know I'm black. I'm a whole black woman. At the end of the day, I still know that I have black children. And if you're going to tell me that I don't care about black people just because of who I'm fucking, y'all got me fucked up. But I digress. Eb, I don't think you've spoken on this.
So for me, I think gatekeeping in the black community, even from mixed people, sometimes is very important to do. Because I think a lot of it stems from, you brought up reverting back to genealogy and stuff. And I think a lot of people look at mixed people now are a choice. Back then it was not a choice to be mixed. But for me, like I'll go into what y'all were saying too. You can gatekeep for me all you want to. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want because I know what I am. But you have so many people who look like us or are like us that prove exactly why this gatekeeping against mixed people exists. So I can't fault people for wanting me not to be a part of certain things. I'm gonna do it anyway. But I can't fault them for that, because how many times have we seen people that look like us that are the reason why this gatekeeping exists? Now, if it was just gatekeeping across the board from every mixed person because they're mixed, yeah, but that's not always what it is. It's gatekeeping because you have people who look like us who do dumb fuck shit.
But
So
I think what I'm trying to say here is that some of these people end up like that because they were gate kept when they tried to be black, is to embrace their blackness, is what I'm saying. Does that make sense?
No,
so when you go ahead and you sit there and you tell a mixed person you're not black enough, well, it's human nature to want to fit in somewhere. So they're going to assimilate. Most likely they're going to assimilate to their other parentage. And that's, I feel like that contributes. I'm never saying that it's the full-on cause, but it contributes to these mixed people who hold those ideals of white supremacy, because black people are saying you're not black enough, fuck off. And then when they sit there and they, suckle at the titty of their white mama and hold that mentality, then you sit there and go, you're black, what the fuck, what's wrong with you, this, that, and the third. How do you expect mixed people to embrace their blackness if you're telling them that they're not black from the gate and you're not allowing them to embrace their blackness and their culture, is what I'm saying.
I just want to put in my little input. Also, we have to think of too is that when we're talking about not being black enough, this also applies for fully black people, because even the black people who were fully black in my neighborhood who grew up in a predominantly white space, they subscribe to whiteness as like white supremacy as well, because they didn't feel accepted by other Black people. So I think this also can be used against fully Black people too. I think we have to put them in consideration as well. I like to say a lot of times that like fully Black people who grow up in like predominantly white areas kind of have like similarities to the mixed experience, because they feel as though they're not Black enough for Black people because they grew up in predominantly white areas. So our experiences are similar, not the same, I wouldn't say, of course, but we definitely have a lot of this similar experiences.
I agree. And a child that is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. I mean, how do y'all explain that? You know? So can we talk about how it's more acceptable for Black men to be with white women, but if a Black man is with a white man, she's a sellout? What do y'all think about that? What y'all got for me? I see V making a face. V, go ahead. Go ahead, V.
That's all. I just think it's stupid. Like, who cares? First of all, this is my body. If I'm loaning it out to whoever I'm loaning it out to, let me loan it out. I'm getting my rocks on. Don't worry about what I'm doing, who I'm doing it with. If they treating me right and they respecting the boundaries that are set, shut the fuck up. Let me do me. Sorry.
I agree.
I will clarify though, I'd like chocolate. Just like dark chocolate. Not the milk chocolate. Y'all can get it sometime, but dark
I'm
chocolate.
sick of you. I'm sick of you.
How Casper say I'm single and ashy. I'm single. Let me get some chocolate. Somebody in there.
I'm done with you. I'd like to preface this by saying none of us are against the Black community at all. I feel like this is a conversation that needs to be had. And if it makes you uncomfortable, good. It's supposed to. Because if it makes you feel uncomfortable, then you're probably doing some of the fuck shit we're talking about. Anyhow, who wants to go next? I will so pick. Go ahead, Key.
Okay, so we're talking about why it's acceptable for like Black men to date white women, but Black women can't date outside their race.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so in my opinion, just like what V was saying, it really shouldn't matter who's in between your legs at the end of the day, because I can be very much pro-Black, or I can be dating a white person, or I can be anti-Black and dating a Black person. There's so much internalized Blackness that a lot of us have, and dating a Black person doesn't mean we're going to be pro-Black. Plus, there's so much variables in that. Like, we're not even bringing up the fact that like Black women outnumber Black men because of mass incarceration. Like, there's so many variables that you have to take into consideration when talking about dating outside of your race. I don't like that, because then it's like we're just dating just to procreate, and that's very much like, it doesn't include like the LGBT plus community. It doesn't include everybody. So dating a Black person just for the sake of being pro-Black, I think that argument is dumb. It doesn't mean that I'm pro-Black because I'm with a Black man. You should be able to see that with my actions, not who I sleep with. So that's my opinion.
Facts. I'm not a goddamn incubator. Okay. So what the fuck I push out of my vagina is none of your business.
Okay, also, this may be just me, but I also feel like Black men also set the standard in our community. I feel like when it comes to like Blackness, Black men are the ones who get to dictate, if that makes sense. Just like when it comes to like the rap industry, Black men get to dictate who has access and who doesn't, which is why like a lot of white women are getting into this industry and basically trying to be the Black woman. Like, I feel like a lot of times Black men are basically the people who get to choose who gets to gatekeep and keep Blackness, if that makes sense, in my opinion. So that's why I feel like it's more acceptable for Black men and not Black women.
Can I say something real quick? I know I'm old, so this just my old side coming out. But men can think they in charge, but because they the head. But you know the neck controls the head. And if we as women stand up and put our foot down, things will change. We just gotta woman the fuck up. Stop letting the masculine, toxic, whatever the hell you want to call it, toxic masculinity dictate what's going on in your life. You dictate it yourself. And that's what's changing in the world too. A lot of people don't realize that women are making a big difference now. Women of all colors, backgrounds, we are making a huge difference. And that's what men are scared of. So be scared, because we coming.
Literally. Leilana, what you think?
I honestly think it doesn't matter what who you date. You know, who you date and what you believe in. It doesn't. I just feel like you're always, for me, like I'm gonna date someone who has the same mindset as me. It doesn't really matter what color they are at that point. I just think I'm a mixed person, so I don't mind interracial relationships, and I think that I never see, if I see a Black woman with a white male, I never judge them for that, and I don't care, you know. Like that's who they want to date. It's not really my business. And that's what I think. Only thing I feel like sometimes when, well, a lot when Black men date white women, they shit on Black women for no reason. Like they be like, oh, this is my girlfriend, and fuck her over there, and her dark skin is like, what, where'd that come from? Like, why did you even have to take it there? And I think that's something there's a difference there too, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes it makes it entirely makes sense. So I have seen Black men with white women, and they essentially they set boundaries and they say, this is not your space to speak in. However, I see a vast majority of Black men basically allowing white women, especially, to speak in Black spaces, especially shitting on Black women. And that's where I have the fucking problem. And to kind of touch on what you said, you're Japanese and Black. You can fight against the systemic racism that affects both of your communities. It doesn't matter who you're fucking. You can still combat the systemic racism and the oppression on both sides. You can be pro Black and you can be pro Japanese or pro Asian, however you want to put it. So yes, taking Black dick does not give you a Black voice. Fucking stop it, white people. I said what I said.
What the hell?
I said what I said. Anyhow, Eb, you want to give your opinion?
I think y'all covered it. Y'all covered it.
Girl said no. She said no. I'm done with you.
I mean, because y'all pretty much all said, basically, y'all pinpointed stuff I was going to say. So it's not, no reason to beat a dead horse. Y'all got it. Y'all said it. Y'all all right, in my opinion.
And since, well, let me ask y'all this. How do y'all define Blackness? So if there's no question for anybody watching, how do y'all define Blackness? Do you have to be fully Black? Well, we all know that that's not true because we're all mixed here and we all said we're Black. If y'all don't like it, fuck off. Would you say, where do we draw the line? 50%, 25%, 5%? I mean, because there's some of these people, that like to say that they're indigenous because their great-great-grandma was a Cherokee princess. But I digress. So how do y'all define blackness? Who wants to go? Eb, I'm so glad you volunteered.
I did not, but okay, here we go. So first I'm gonna say I don't know why people still subscribe to like the one drop rule. That's mad fucking annoying. I think that I mean I don't honestly I don't know. And I say that I could tell you who is not black in my opinion. The people who want to sit here and say, you know, my great grandpa was black, therefore I am, like, no. But when it comes to like people who are mixed, even down to those who have a mixed parent and they're like 25% of something else and 75% black, I think those are also case by cases, because how can we sit here and say being black is more than just your skin color in a lot of instances. If you have lineage to it, are you the essence of being black? That those are two different things. I'm not saying that if you are not black at all, that you can just say, you know, I'm transracial or whatever the fuck that shit is. But I think that question within itself is so subjective that it's hard to narrow down. That's all.
So here's where I have an issue with that. How can we sit there and judge the entire community of mixed people? And I said community because it's not a fucking race. So don't nobody say that dumb shit in the comments. If we're going by a case-by-case basis. Because there are people who have, like me, grew up white, but I'm black. I've always been seen as black. So how does that work when we can only go by I mean, because let's face it, we have dark-skinned people who are whole ass coons that subscribe to the mentality of white supremacy, but we don't say that they're not black. We don't say that.
Can I clarify on something?
Sure.
So I'll give an example. So my brother, who is visibly darker than I am, married a white woman and has 2 children that if you did not know that they had a whole mixed father or a black father, you would think they're white children. So for me to sit here and say that they're black is weird to me. They have a mixed dad. They have some black, you know, lineage, but they themselves are not black.
I think, okay, I'm going to put like my little input. Like I see both sides. So I'm going to say this, like, I think having black ancestry and claiming your blackness and loving your blackness is a little bit different than just saying that your race is actually black. It doesn't, just because you have black ancestry doesn't mean that your race is automatically black. I am going to draw the line because society is going to perceive you a certain way. And if you're able to move around as like a white person, and if you never told nobody that you have black ancestry, you're going to be treated a lot different versus someone who is black appearing. It doesn't take away from the fact that you have black lineage. It doesn't take away from that. You're still entitled to your culture. It doesn't change anything. But yeah, your race wouldn't be considered black. And I think a lot of times when you tell like a mixed person who looks fully white that their race is not black, and I'm not saying they can't like love their blackness, because you should. That is a part of you. But it does, just because someone is telling you that your race is not black, it doesn't mean that you're no longer black. If you get what I'm saying, like it just means that society doesn't perceive you as black. But then again, this doesn't. I feel like this narrative applies differently for like Black and Asian, because I feel like from my understanding, like the Asian community doesn't see like Black and Asian people as Asians. So I get it's a little bit different. This whole theory wouldn't work for Blasians, but I'm saying as far as like white and black, you typically can tell, like, you know what I mean, if their race would be considered black. So,
but
that's
where I have a problem, because so we're back on the one person who's mixed with Black and Asian, they're black because Asian people won't claim them. But if you're black and white presenting, then
To me, like whenever I see like, because I'm assuming like when me and my like significant other, we eventually have a kid, I would just assume our child is just like a Black Asian. Like I wouldn't take away either or from them. I would just say like my child is a Black Asian. Like whenever I see like Black people Asian people who are mixed with Black people and they're in the Asian community, I just refer to them as like a Black Asian. I don't know if that's like a right terminology or if that's offensive or whatever it may be, but I claim them as both. I think it's a little bit different when for Black and white, just because we live in like a white supremacist society, and it's just like you either, you know what I mean, you're either going to appear as Black or you're going to appear as white, and depending on which one, you have more privilege, you're able to move in society a little bit different.
well,
I do think
I'm not speaking on the spaces that they can operate in.
right.
That's not what I'm speaking on at all. Because I mean, there are white presenting people who understand the spaces that they operate in. Like, they know that they look white, so they can't sit there walking around saying the N-word. It's more so.
Uh-oh. Where'd she go?
We lost her. I don't know what happened.
She'll be back, I'm sure.
Well, can I also say this too till she gets back? I think that also speaking in terms of passing and presenting are two different things. Because you can very well be a white presenting mixed person, but still clearly tell that you are Black as well. But if you're white passing, you cannot. So I think the terminology too is different. Like my nephews are white passing. Like there's nothing about them, no Afrocentric features, no skin tone, that if you thought they came from two white parents. So they cannot maneuver or fill out forms saying that they are Black.
But okay, I didn't catch the first part of what you said. So do you still consider them Black?
They are part Black, but they can't walk through life like they're Black. There's no way. They can't fill out a form saying they're Black. They can't.
And I'm not talking about where, like, what spaces they operate in and how they maneuver through society. I am just asking, by your definition of Blackness, can they be considered Black? That's all I'm asking.
They are part Black. They are not Black. Like for you to sit here. So go ahead.
So by your definition, I should say I'm part Black as well.
No,
because I'm not fully Black.
So it's
just because of how they look, they should say that they're part Black.
Yeah, because they're not Black.
Even if they're half.
Even if they're half. They're not half. They're not even half. So
girl, there's John. John looks like a white man.
John does not look like a white man to me.
Yes, he does.
No, he does not.
Yes, he does.
You can clearly tell that he is not only just white. You can clearly tell that today.
No, you can't until he opens his mouth.
Somebody being 75 and 25 is a whole different scenario.
Okay, ladies. Separate corners.
Girl.
I love both of y'all. Y'all both have very valid
We allowed to disagree. Hush.
But
anyhow.
Let me speak as a white presenting Black woman.
Go ahead.
Mixed woman. He has a very valid point because I don't like it because I don't agree with it fully, but she has a very valid point because when I go into the world, if I'm not in my community, they're gonna look at me and be like, oh, that's a white woman. I can start talking, they be like, oh, you have a weird accent. What are you? They're not gonna say Black. I've been everything but Black to white people. Black people will see me as Black, but another person that looks like this, they gonna be like, oh, are you Puerto Rican? I get that one all the time. Are you mixed with Puerto Rican? And I'm like, no, I'm mixed with Black. So she has a very valid point. I don't like it because I hate being that stereotype, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think for me, I would say that like Blackness, claiming your Blackness is different than saying that my race is flat out Black. You know what I mean? Like, I think
one does not counteract the other. I can't say that I'm one thing and not say that I'm that, because you cannot hate what you are.
Right. So I think you can definitely claim your Blackness. You can definitely claim your Black lineage, but to say that your race is flat out Black, that's just where I draw the line. So
in y'all's opinion, people who are white presenting should say that they're mixed or part black?
No, you say what you want to say that you are, because that's how you want the world to perceive you. If you have black and you like me or like John, I know John's black, but I know when John goes into a white space, white people don't look at John as black because they look at me the same way. I know that when we go into those spaces, we have to, one of two things: either keep our mouth shut and don't say nothing because we need to get whatever we need to get done without bullshit, or speak up at every white person that comes up to us and says some racist shit about somebody else, because they're not going to say it about us. They don't think it about us. It's completely different. My experience is completely different than Key's experience because of the tone of our skin. And we want everybody to see color, but when it comes to us, we can't see color. I'm confused.
So I guess my thing is how do I put it? So like I said, I'm not speaking on how they operate in spaces. And I understand that that is part of what y'all are saying.
That has a major part in it, though, Jess.
And I understand that. But I guess my thing is okay, just like we say, the black experience is not a monolithic experience. Like if you're brought up in your culture, like as you were, or as John was, and I'm sorry for talking about you, John. If you want the link to the stream, message me on Instagram. If you're brought up in your black culture, I guess what's wrong with saying that you're black? I understand what y'all are saying. And I guess Casper has an opinion on this. Go ahead, little brother.
First off, I'm going to start off with I will not be showing up on camera. That's one. Secondly, I think it's a little bit different when we're talking about the black experience, because I call it the 3 A's when we're talking about operating in whiteness. You either have to adapt, assimilate, or be absolved. When you adapt to something, it's an adjustment. When you assimilate to something, you have to take in the environment, meaning like you take in what you are dealing with and then you adopt those traits. But then when you are being absolved, that means you are being washed of it. So it's a little bit different when we're talking about like the black experience, because you can be absolved of your blackness, not by choice. You could be in a white space, take in the white spaces, and then, kind of like regurgitate what you are dealing with in these white spaces, or you can adapt with what we call as code switching. So it's really, really complex and nuanced. I think the issue when we're talking about this, though, is because at the end of the day, code switching and how you adapt to white spaces, they're all coping mechanisms, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. But I think it's an issue when we start to police each other, how to do it the right way without it coming off as hurtful or problematic. In other words, your black don't gotta look like my black. Let me put that in layman's terms.
Well, does that also go into the conversation about people solely basing your blackness, between phenotype and genotype? Like,
I think if you can adopt the white supremacy ideology and still be fully black presenting, then you can have the black genotypes and not assimilate to whiteness. But once again, it's very, very nuanced and non-binary, which is why it's one of those, like, you can't really do it a wrong way, but when you absolve something, which means you are absorbing it, that is not, what's the word? It's not consensual. They're not making a choice to, they're being washed of it. That in itself is whiteness. I'm gonna go back in my cave now.
Thank you, Casper. And I guess that's how I see it as well. Like, just because they look a certain way does not negate the fact that they're black. Key, you got something to say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say though, but This is like such like a hard one, right? Because I mean, I don't want anyone to feel as though I'm stripping away their blackness by saying that their race wouldn't be black if I, like, me seeing them, I wouldn't see them as black. It's not saying that I'm trying to strip away their blackness. I'm just saying, like, if I didn't know you and I just seen you out the street, and if you are white appearing, I'm gonna think you're white, whether you have black ancestry or not, whether you claim to be black or not. Um, Race is very real in this society, and I get that you are half black, but if you are strictly looking white, our experiences aren't the same. And I think when you claim that you are just fully black, you're saying that your experience is the same as my experience, and it's really not. You know what I mean? I feel like it erases mixed children who are even more black appearing and what they go through, because you're just trying to claim that you are black too, when in reality our experiences aren't really the same. You are black, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're not black. I'm just saying, when you try to solely say, hey, my race is just black and nothing else, and saying, I just feel like you're erasing the experiences of what other people are going through. Yes, being black is not a monolith. All of our experiences are different. But if you appear to be white, you're going to be perceived as white, whether you have black ancestry or not. But I think V wanted to go.
Actually, V left. She said she'll be right back. So yeah, that part.
But yeah, let's move on. So we're all women here. Have y'all heard about the shit that's going on in Texas?
Talking about the abortion.
Well, from erasing Dr. King to committing genocide to indigenous history to suppressing women's suffrage and forcing us to become walking incubators. And to top it all off, they can't even admit that the KKK is morally wrong.
And also, isn't there, like, aren't they doing bounties too?
Yes.
That part too.
Yes. So what are y'all's thoughts? Let's start with the bleaching of POC history. Let's start there. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Yeah, I don't know, Erica. A lot of shit going on in Texas. They just fucked up. They need to secede and get the fuck away from us, in my opinion. What Leilana, what do you think of what's going on in Texas?
I actually have no idea what's going on in Texas. I didn't know all this was going on. So
do you want me to run it down a little bit?
Yeah, because
okay. So what they are doing is they have pulled Dr. King and essentially Black history and indigenous history from the curriculum taught in schools, including women's suffrage. And they have told teachers that they cannot say that the KKK was morally wrong. On top of them doing these abortion laws where you can't have an abortion past 8 weeks. When we're mothers here. When did y'all find out that you were pregnant? 6 weeks? Right? And then going through all the appointments and shit.
8, 9 weeks.
So yeah, there's just, and they're doing these bounties where they're not. Yeah,
you can report that someone had an abortion and claim a bounty from it.
Yep. And they have this law where even if you miscarry past that stage, they can put your ass in jail.
Yeah, miscarriage in like the dictionary, it's just a unexpected abortion. That's what it's like classified as. But I'm thinking, how far will that law go? Because after I had my twins, I had an ectopic pregnancy where I physically had to get that thing removed. I shouldn't say thing, that's so rude. But like, I had to get the baby removed. But my thing is, I'm thinking, how far are they going to take this? Because if I didn't get it removed I would have died. Like, it was so bad. I had to get my whole right side removed. They had to take all of it out because it was so bad. I waited too long. So I'm thinking, how far is this going to go? Like, do ectopic pregnancies, the removal of the baby now count as an abortion? Like, how far is that going to go? And not to mention, on top of that too, Texas makes the curriculum, like a lot of the curriculum books that go out for other states. So even though this is happening in Texas, they're also making the books too for other states as well. So that also has to be in consideration too. It's very fucked up. Like, Texas got everything fucked up.
Yeah. Beyond fucked up. Go ahead, V.
I was adjusting my camera. I know y'all saw that thing fall all the way to the floor.
I mean, I did, but nobody else did because I got you on the monitors. I saw it.
I did not.
That shit said,
I'm slick with it. It looked like the Matrix on your screen.
Look, I'm gonna say it like I said it before. It's my body, and I'm sorry, but I have a question for the men of Texas, especially the ones that voted for the stupid ass law y'all got over there. So since they can't abort them at 6 weeks, can they start collecting child support? Because this shit costs money when you
say it again,
baby. Like,
say it again.
Life insurance. Can we get life insurance on the baby because it's a baby now? Food stamps.
Life insurance. You better start stocking up on diapers because them shit is expensive. No, come on now. If I have to abide by your rules, why can't I benefit too? Because if now it's a child, and you're making sure that it's a child because you voted for that shit about my body, you gonna have to go and give me the money. Where's my money? Where's my benefit from having to do this bullshit if you raped me and I didn't want this child in the first place?
In insurance, make the men pay for the insurance. You want to make us have this baby? Y'all pay for the delivery. Y'all get the bill, the hospital bills.
Yeah, they don't. Here's my thing. A bunch of old white men whose mothers should have spat them out on the fucking floor made this law. And I think the really disgusting thing about it is there's so many women that subscribe to this when they don't realize that they could be a victim of this. So you're telling me if you go ahead and you get knocked up and you can go to jail for having a fucking miscarriage? And if you're going to sit here and scream pro-life, literally picket at Planned Parenthoods, not understanding the statistics of Planned Parenthood, but if you're going to do that and claim you're pro-life, why the fuck aren't you mad about kids in cages? Why the fuck aren't you mad about indigenous communities not even having clean fucking water? Why the fuck aren't you mad about redlining and gentrification and kids going into the foster care system? Why aren't you mad? Are you pro-life or are you pro-forced birth? Because I'm not a fucking incubator. And my uterus is not under your control.
Right. And this is another thing for pro-lifers. Why don't y'all ever go after the fertility clinics? Okay, my job, I work around fertility people and them trying to have babies. FYI, fertility clinics throw away way more babies than if you go to an abortion clinic. And y'all, they never go after fertility clinics. If it was really about the babies, y'all would go after fertility clinics, throwing away all those babies, all those fetuses. Y'all would really care. No, it's about the woman's body. All these people is just pro-birth. And pro-birth is not a good thing because you're going to get into complications. There are women who have to physically get the child removed because they can't go to full term with that baby. It's health. Oh my God, there's just so many things. And then now we're getting into criminalization of women for wanting to have control of their own bodies. Mass incarceration is going to go up for women. It's so, I hate Texas for this. And I just can see it now that like a lot of other states are going to hop on board. I have a feeling my home state, Arizona, is already problematic. They already I think they already banned critical race theory, which isn't even taught in schools. That's actually taught in college.
As an elective.
Right. And I'm like, that's another thing. What are y'all gonna do when y'all get into college and y'all don't know shit about history? Gonna look real stupid. Real stupid. I just hate it here. Like, I really just hate it here. And I can only imagine what those kids are going to be learning, that the KKK wasn't morally wrong. Just feeding their minds. Like,
Just a bunch of white people in hoodies burning Christmas candles in people's front lawns. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that makes me
Literally.
nervous. And a lot of my white family lives in Texas. So I'm more like, damn. Like,
It's
They
their
make white
fault.
they make white people in Texas. Jess, before you carry on, you asked Leilana at first,
Yeah.
and then you had to refresh, so we don't want to miss her as all.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
Leilana, what you think? Texas,
it's giving me a lot of kind of like a real Handmaid's Tale vibe. Like that just it's weirding me out. I don't know, policing women's bodies is never okay. I think it's just I think that's what's morally wrong. And whitewashing history, like I cannot believe that's even happening right now. It's crazy. I thought the history I was taught growing up was whitewashed. How are you gonna whitewash it even more? You know? Anyways, it weirds me out every time I hear of news. I'm like, oh, are you serious? What's gonna happen next? Because I live in Tennessee. They're probably gonna. I'm surprised it's not illegal out here yet.
Okay, we got to say bye to Eb real quick. Thanks for coming on, Eb, and I will talk to you after. I appreciate it, girl. She said bye, y'all, in the backstage chat. Okay. So yeah, Amethyst said something. Yes, women who are raped will now be punished for it. Yeah. Basically, what they are what they're doing is women or girls who are victims of incest and rape, they have to live with the trauma for 9 months, and then possibly even longer, because some people can't give up a baby that they birthed, and that can put trauma on the child. That puts trauma on the mother. But apparently they don't give a shit about that, because they think that rape doesn't happen that often, even though 97% of women have said that they have gone through sexual assault or sexual harassment. So, I mean, at this point, Texas just doesn't like facts and statistics. Y'all ignore science. Y'all ignore scientific studies. And can y'all just break off and leave America the fuck alone? Because you just doing the most. I'm done with it.
Wait, my niece and my nephews live there. They can't
Tell
just
them to
break
come
off.
the fuck back home.
Nah, they got good jobs. Let them keep that money.
I mean, if we just cut Texas all the way off, other places will have good jobs too. I'm just saying. Key, you got something to say?
I was just gonna say, like, I'm not really surprised too much, because if you really think about it, like, there's no room for women to have rights in a white supremacist society. You know what I mean? So it makes sense in a way why they're so anti-women. You know what I mean? Like, white supremacists don't like the fact that women have the same level of like power as them. It doesn't work. So I guess this is their way of staying one up in front of women, is by taking away their choice to their own bodies.
Yeah, and that's what I find so odd about so many women subscribing to this. Like, they literally want to be fucking oppressed. Like, it's just like white people who cry out reverse racism. They're trying so hard to be oppressed. Um, I don't
It's like
like
the
it.
same women who are like, women need to be at home in the kitchen and they need to be like waiting to their man, all these things. It's the same type of women. It's
Yeah,
the
you're
same
gonna have
women.
arsenic with your dinner if you think that's who the fuck I am. I'm just saying. And for my FBI agent that already cut me off once earlier, that was a joke.
Hey, look, man, look. We're not trying to get flagged. We are peaceful. We lead with love around here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we
No,
like.
you lead with love.
Look, you can lead with love and cuss
I
somebody
lead
out.
with these hands, okay?
You can lead with love and not cuss somebody out. Let's not talk about let's not talk about conspiracy or murder. That's it.
It's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. Like I said, my FBI
Leilana,
agent
I'm
is
sorry
watching.
to ask
It's
a
a
random
joke.
question. But what kind of cat is that? It's gorgeous.
She's just like a normal little barn cat. I got 2.
That sucker is big. You feed them.
I saw a dog walking around there earlier, and I had to resist the urge to like come on and start yelling about a puppy. Um, is that a boxer that I saw walking?
Yeah, he's a boxer hound mix. He's on my couch right now, but yeah, he's about like 60-70 pound dog. He's my old man.
God, I need a dog.
That's a
Dog.
grown man.
Cash at me because I need a dog. Okay.
Jess, where you gonna put him while you out here? If you get a dog, who gonna watch him?
Look, V said
I'm
she's
not
gonna
watching
take
it.
Henley. V said she gonna take Henley.
Yeah, Cash.
I'm not watching it.
I said
I'm not watching
Henley.
that dog.
I didn't say the dog. Wait a minute.
V said she'll watch Henley.
Henley. Because her and Avea, they can just play all day. I'm fine.
Exactly. You gonna take Henley, and then I got room for the dog.
You're not gonna trade the dogs for it. No.
No, I love my baby girl. I love my baby girl too much. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic. We're all mixed here. Let's discuss colorism in the media. Because, and I'm gonna call Tyler Perry's ass out for this. Dark-skinned women are demonized in the media, or tokenized even. And they put these mixed women who look like me or look like Leilana or look like Key. I'm sorry, V, you look like a white woman. So they would just, they make you play Kathy Bates' role or something. But
as long as I get the knife, we Gucci.
I'm done with you. But they will literally put us as the face of a fully Black woman while tokenizing a dark-skinned woman. Or and I noticed it's kind of the opposite for men. At least with Tyler Perry. And that's just since Idris Elba became popular. Dark-skinned men are what they want you to fetishize, and people like Michael Ealy are the villain, I guess. So there's definitely a colorism structure in the media. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Who want to go first? I will pick a bitch. Go ahead, Key.
Didn't. Okay, my bad. I thought I muted. No, I definitely agree. Colorism is, to me personally, I feel like colorism right now is at like its highlight. Like, if you just look at Instagram and the image of what is, I feel like social media in general is growing. Mark my words, social media is going to be like the new thing. But if you look at how like it's starting to change and shift, is more for racially ambiguous people is the new look. And I feel like I feel like we're becoming the new look. And I feel like a lot of like media, it's majority mixed women. Look at like the
Can I say this though? Can I say this? We're not becoming the new look. We have always been the look. They have always grabbed mixed women and portrayed them as fully black women. What's her name? Paula Pattinson? I don't fucking know her name. I don't know. She in a lot of Tyler Perry shit. Halle Berry is a mixed woman.
So I won't say like the new look, but I would say as far as social media goes, yeah, we are the look. Or like as far as like, and I wouldn't say just mix in general. I would say light skins in general.
Agreed.
If you look at the rap game, I'm sorry, but do they have talent or are they just light skinned? There's like, and they all
ask me about rap.
Somebody needs to go
about rap because we gonna
somebody need to go get that tree out the road.
Like they all have the same sound, the same look, and then it's like white women are now hopping on the same look. Is too much for me. Is way too much. Like there's no.
Just say it, Key. You talking about Iggy, ain't you?
Yes, but no, she's not the only one. There's another one. What did she say? What is her name? Okay. Come back to me. I'm gonna find who she was. But she had made this comment. It was a white woman. She's fully white, and she was a DJ in Miami. Oh, I can't fucking think of her name, but she ended up becoming a rapper. And in all her music and all her rap songs and all these things, she talks about black women just hating on her. I'm gonna find who she is, and then I'm gonna put it in the comment section.
Yes, please.
I got you. I'm looking for it right now.
Yeah, look her up. She's literally she's in Miami. She's Miami based.
I'm already
a white woman. And she stays has like cornrows in her head. She's, oh my god. All her comment section too right now is muted. Like you can't even comment on her Instagram. She got everything muted because she's so fucking problematic. But anyway,
there was a white girl. There was a white girl. I just did. It's like my second most recent TikTok video. If y'all want to check it out after this. There's this white girl who had box braids like me. And she sat there. She said, when you're a white girl and people tell you you look good with box braids, I'm like, baby, who the fuck told you that?
I don't know. It's the scalp. The scalp looks so funny to me. It's always like pink and then it's like open. I don't know. It just looks so weird. Like, I don't know. Like, it looks like if you peeled back my skin and like,
it looks like their scalp is a naked mole rat. Anyway.
Yeah, the scalp looks naked. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe if they put like tanning in the scalp, it wouldn't look as bad. But it's just like the scalp is.
So you want them to look like an orange?
Because
you know they don't know how to tan neither.
Can we carry on, please?
Okay, no, we're talking about colorism. Okay, but no.
But I do want to address
my asthma. I can't.
I do want to address this comment.
Question,
yes,
please.
Beyonce was lighter, so when Beyonce went solo, she succeeded. But we all know that Kelly was the more talented. But everybody slept on her because she was dark skinned. We team Kelly here, so I can say that.
Don't stop.
The dark skins are always portrayed as like the villain, always, fucking always, and I hate that shit. I don't like that at all. And even if you look at like the way Hollywood just casts only mixed people, it's a problem. And I think a lot of it is, I'm sorry, but like at some point, mixed people, racial ambiguous people, and light-skinned people, we're gonna have to turn down these roles and make room for other Black people, other dark-skinned, brown-skinned women in the industry. Just like we took over the hair care movement when it was started by a Black woman with 4C hair. And now we are the face of it. How? And white women are hopping on it now.
Look, if I see one more bitch with straight motherfucking hair sit there and be like, these are my curls, I might just go to prison. Y'all gonna see the next podcast of me in orange. I'm just saying.
The wavy.
Sorry, it is what it is.
Next time we pop on here, because I don't care what y'all say, I'm still getting it braided.
Look, it's not even that. It's the fact that you weren't raised in this culture. You don't understand the cultural significance to having braids. You don't understand why people have braids. And I'm not saying you, V, because I know you know.
I get that.
I'm saying you as in white people
thought that y'all have about that girl. And that's why I
But
said
I
I'm gonna
think
stop.
that depends on geographical
And
location
that's
as
why I said
well,
I'm gonna
because
stop
people
making
know
videos
down there
about
know you
people that wear
Creole.
braids that's white, because I know what I look like when I have my braids in, and I'm gonna wear my braids. I have braids several times. My entire childhood, from the age of 7 to the age of 18, my shit was in cornrows every day because it was past my ass. My mom wasn't about to do nothing but braid it up. So, like, what do you mean? Like, no. Yeah, it's straight, it's stringy, but guess what? It's thick and it holding braids. And if you tell me wrong, I'm still gonna wear them. I don't care.
And here's my thing. Like I said, they don't understand the cultural significance of having braids. They don't understand that during slavery, cornrows were they used cornrows to put maps to find the Underground Railroad and to escape. They don't understand that. They just want the black aesthetic without the black oppression. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, for you are, it also depends on geographical location, and you are Creole, so people down by you know that you are Creole. There's white presenting Creole people down there.
Yeah, and it's the fact that you are also black. Like you can at any time, girl, you can claim your black culture. Like at any time, it is a part of you. So it's different than like a fully white person who isn't black, just wearing it just to be like
But I
significant.
say
You know
that
what I
to
mean?
say they did the same thing to Leilani on TikTok.
Yeah, and I don't
They
like no.
you can
They,
look at her and look at me, and you will see more black features on that beautiful woman than you see black features on
you
me.
do. Yeah,
So
you
we
do.
got
Only
another
Asian
treat
about her is her
incoming.
eyes.
We got another
But she
treat
can't help that.
incoming. I'm gonna say this.
But look at that hair. Her hair hold it better than mine would, and y'all gonna pick on her for what?
Here's my. I'm gonna say this. I'm a incoming tree about to fall. You can tell by looking at Leilani, she has black in her. So I think it's very funny that Facts and Snacks or Snacks and Facts or whatever the fuck her dumbass name is sat there and made a 4-part series about Leilana's Asian phenotypes when that bitch is sitting there on TikTok with her Eurocentric fucking phenotypes.
Wait,
shut all the way the fuck up.
Tag me later on them later on. Okay.
I will.
I want to know who. I want to know who. Like, let me just.
I will. I got you.
If you want, well, actually, Leilani, did you have anything to say about that per se, as far as like going through that nonsense on TikTok?
It was actually, it made me very uncomfortable. First of all, she like made these videos and then didn't like, I had no idea about them until someone tagged me in her comments section. But like, yeah, I've been everywhere I went growing up, I've been black. Like, it's not even like, it's just, I've never had someone dissect my features and like argue it, and then other people arguing over if I'm black or not. And it's like, well, it doesn't matter what you guys think. Like, I am. Like, my dad is black, my mom is Japanese. They came together and here I am. Like, you know, I don't know why she was going off on phenotypes and like saying that I'm not a black woman and all this other stuff. But my experience growing up, I've experienced racism. I've experienced it from both ends, because there's a lot of colorism and racism in the Asian community. And so it just made me just it was such a weird situation. And it was also hurtful coming from someone who is also mixed. So the whole situation just like weirded me out.
And I will say I have noticed the other side of the spectrum of mixed people. They want to sit there and they're so insecure about their own blackness that they will follow these people who are claim to be pro-black and will say things like, you have to cut off all ties to your white family or your non-black family in order for me to consider you black, or mixed should be in its own class and race because they're not black. That they subscribe to that, and they subscribe to these hoteps when, bitch, you one of us. Make it make sense. So I mean, you have two different sides of the spectrum. Some mixed, you have the mixed people who will assimilate more to whiteness you have the mixed people who will entirely fucking forget that they're mixed and will shit on other mixed people. And then you have mixed people who we're just fighting for the same thing y'all are fighting for. Like, can we just be black? So I have seen that, especially on TikTok, of course. Because I wish a mixed bitch would try to tell me that I can't wear my hair in braids just because I have Eurocentric features or some dumb shit like that.
It comes from insecurity.
It does.
It literally is insecurity in their own blackness. To attack you and tell you that you can't take from your own culture got me fucked up. Okay, like absolutely not. You can claim your blackness at any point, and it's nobody can take that from you regardless. Like that is in you by like blood, right? Like you are black and your ancestors are black. Like that's insecurity. I wouldn't take any of that shit seriously. Like I said, let me know who it was because got me fucked up.
It goes back to my black doesn't have to look like yours. And I think it's even weirder for mixed people to say that because your black doesn't even look like what the fully black community, people in the fully black community are saying should look like black.
When you told me earlier it was a mixed girl, I was like, oh, really? That's what we not gonna fucking do. My old ass will still fight you. Like, don't play with me.
It's funny that you say that, Amethyst, because we have a Willie Lynch letter expert up in here. Key just read them not too long ago. So, Key, do you want to touch on the Willie Lynch letters real quick, please?
Should I get the books? I could actually read it from it.
You can if you want. It's up to you.
Yes, get the book. No.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the book. That way I have hold on 1 second.
All right, go ahead. Not shit falling off my nightstand. I'm done. But yeah, while we're waiting for Key to get that, to get the book, do y'all have anything else you want to say on that? Leilana, I know that was a really aggravating time for you. I could see it in your content. You were just like exasperated. Like, why the fuck are you coming for me? So has anything changed since then? Like, are you do you feel a different way or anything like that since that happened?
It's like I would like if I make a TikTok, it's not always about race. Because it's like every time I just post something, someone says something about my looks. And I'm like, can I? What the heck? Like, like it's always something about my hair, about like, about my features. And I'm like, I'm just trying to exist, guys, and enjoy TikTok. And honestly, I have been taken back on posting because it's exhausting dealing with those comments all the time. And I filtered my comments so I don't see certain ones. But, sometimes when you're just like, go on TikTok to be entertained and then just get a comment, you're just like, all right, I guess I'll just go somewhere. I guess I'll just watch some TV instead,
Look, what you need to do, because I swear to God, this is the best, like, tension releaser, is you need to come on one of our Zooms. Because we be talking shit and we be kicking it and we just be laughing and kicking it all motherfucking night. You need to come on one of our Zooms.
I just want to say something
on my,
really quick.
Oh, go ahead, Key.
Hold on. There was a comment saying that I was doing the same exact thing. My viewpoints are the same. I'm going to clear this up. This comment. I'm not saying the same thing. I want to get this straight. When I'm saying that I don't see someone as like being black, when I see them visibly and they look white appearing, and I say that I don't see you as a black person, that's not the same thing as me saying you are not black at all. You are not entitled to black culture. That is not the same thing as me taking away all of your blackness, all of your history, your parents. I'm not taking that away from you. Me saying that you look white is not saying that I believe that you shouldn't be able to partake in black culture. I'm not saying that. So I don't know where you got that idea from, but I'm definitely clearing that up. She is entitled to her culture. She is entitled to learn about her ancestors. All of those things are in her. You can't take away something that's in you. Nobody can. And I think that's the thing with TikTok, is that people think that they can take away your blackness. Baby, no, you cannot. You may think that I'm mixed and I'm not black, which is fine. Whatever. Think what you want to think. But you can't change my lineage. And I think that's where people on TikTok don't realize, like, y'all really be trying to take away all of someone's history because you don't feel as though they fit what you deem as like what blackness is. And me saying that someone is white appearing, I'm not saying that they're no longer black and that they are no longer entitled to their culture. I'm just saying your race may not be black, but your ethnicity still has black in it, and you are still entitled, again, to your culture. So I just wanted to clear that up really quick. I didn't mean to cut you guys off, but that comment just like, what?
Well, and I just want to say this. My daughter, she's white presenting. She looks like a little white girl. On all of her paperwork though, and this is from the moment she was born, the hospital put this as her race is black. So I kind of see what Deadpool was saying, because you can have people whose race is literally identified as black, people who grew up culturally as black and still be white presenting. So their race, they identify with black. Does that
and
make
I think
am I
that's
making
fine.
sense?
No, I think that's fine. But what I'm saying is you can't expect everyone to see you as black. That's where I draw the line. You can't get mad at me if I look at someone and I'm like, okay, I see you as white. I'm not saying that you don't have black in you. I'm not taking that away from you. I'm just saying is like, I saw you as a white woman. And if you correct me, I'm like, okay, so she black. Like, if you correct me, I'm gonna change how I see you, obviously, because I know your background. And if you identify as black, I'm not going to say you're a white person. If you identify as black, I'm going to respect that, and I'm going to refer to you as a black woman. However,
Okay,
I may not have saw you as
you're
that
saying at
originally.
first glance.
Right. And I'm saying if I see you first glance white and you tell me I'm a black woman, I identify as a black woman, okay, you identify as a black woman. I'm going to respect that. Just the same thing as someone says that their pronouns are like something differently. I'm going to respect that. It's all about respect. You know what I mean? But I'm saying you can't expect every single person to see you as a black woman and then get upset if they don't, because that may not be what I see you as. That's what I was saying.
But then can't you say the same thing for us?
Right. Everyone on this panel, I see you as black.
No, I'm saying, can't you say that we can't get mad for the fully black community saying that they don't see us as black women?
Right.
You can't.
I mean,
you can't. Other people's opinion of you is none of your fucking business. So why do you care anyway?
While
That's their fucking
while
opinion.
I understand that, I'm more touching on the fact that this can bring forth an identity crisis in mixed people, who then will assimilate to their anti-black side.
I'm gonna pull a
but I
pass
feel
for
like when
that
it
sounds
comes
like a
to
them
us,
problem and not a me problem.
but I think also when it comes to being mixed, it's like, no matter what, like, everyone is gonna pick us apart. Like, it sucks because like our like identity is always going to be picked apart no matter what. Like, we can't claim anything. Like, if I were to say, and the only reason why I don't claim being mixed is only because this is a little bit different than Leilani, but for me, I don't claim being mixed because in claiming being half white, I am now claiming whiteness. Okay, like, I'm now claiming pride in whiteness. Like, I wouldn't go around saying like, yeah, I'm proud to be half white. Like, I don't think anything's wrong with being half white, but I'm not going to claim pride in whiteness. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's weird. Like, people get mad if you claim being mixed because now you're claiming pride in whiteness, which I understand. But then if you say I'm black, it's like, no. And if I say, like, if I'm walking down the street and I'm like, I identify as a white woman, y'all gonna think I'm crazy. I'm gonna look crazy.
I wouldn't say it's I wouldn't say it's that. I would say what I said earlier. You can't, as a person that is multicultural, you cannot exclude one for the other. You can't. So no, I don't like certain people of a certain skin tone half the time because they say stupid racist shit. But I can't say that I hate them or I disassociate myself with them because I am still a part of them. That is still a part of me. And if I deny that, there's no way that I can change how they view and how they see society because I'm too busy denying that it's even there.
But I think also, like, for me, there is no like, when it comes to claiming whiteness, for me, like, if I claim whiteness in a family that I'm brought up in, I'm going to be claiming, like, if you meet my family, I'm going to be claiming white supremacy. Like, there's no claiming whiteness in the type of family that I'm in. I feel like for mixed children who claim their white side and their parents aren't, their white side isn't so racist, yeah, it's nice being able to claim your white side, sure. But for me, no. Like, my family is extremely racist. Like, during Black Lives Matter, my grandma went and got a Confederate flag and said that was part of my history. Like, my mom, like, she's a full-on Trump supporter. Like, claiming whiteness just isn't a reality in my family. And even when I was growing up, my mom put on all of my papers, hospital, everything, white. My only race on every single paper was white. And during, like, anytime I would act out or anything, oh, you're acting Black. Like, anytime I was bad, it's now I'm being Black. Or during Black Lives Matter, she's like, stop trying to act Black. And it's like, I'm not trying to act anything other than what I am. I think you just want me to be a white woman, and I can't claim being a white woman. Like, I can have white ancestry and I can be part white. Yes. But I feel like me being able to identify as a white woman, it just doesn't work, especially my family. Like, I don't want to claim that kind of whiteness. I feel like it's hard to claim whiteness when whiteness has always been racist. Like, there's nothing really to be proud of. Like, sure, I'm
not saying claim it and be proud of it, but I'm saying you can't deny that side of it.
Oh no, I'm not denying it. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to, like, claiming it as in, like, pride, I don't like. And I feel like, you know, like, when you go on TikTok and people are always commenting, why don't you, like, claim you're half white? Like, why don't you be proud to be mixed? So if I claim, like, okay, if I go outside and I'm like, hey, so yeah, I'm proud to be mixed, and y'all are gonna get mad saying I'm proud to be half white. And it's like, that's why I feel like when it comes to being able to identify either whatever side we go with, it's a problem. Like, and just like Leilani was saying, she was saying how, like, she can't even make a TikTok video without someone attacking her race. I think that is so problematic. Like, it's something about, like, mixed kids. I don't know. People are just so fascinated with us and they want to be able to categorize us. And I feel like a lot of times it's hard because we're not a monolith, and depending on your genes, you're going to come out different.
Well, I think it's like this. They fetishize us. They want their kids to look like us. And then when we're here, we're not good enough. Because we didn't come out the exact way that they envisioned.
Yep, that was for me.
So, yeah. I think we're getting a little off track. But I understand what you're saying, Key. But I also understand what Deadpool is saying. And I think a lot of it depends on our experiences as mixed people, because we have very different ones. So I think that's why our views are pretty different, you know. And to talk about what V said, I understand that other people's opinions are none of my business. However, when you're 5, when you're 10, when you're 15, you know, even in your 20s sometimes. That shit still hurts. And that hearing something like that at such impressionable ages, because let's face it, there's motherfuckers that are 50 years old that are still impressionable as fuck. Hearing that causes that internal identity crisis. And the reason why I don't walk around and say I'm mixed is because you can look at me and tell me that you can look at me and tell that I'm mixed. However, that's not what I've been seen as. I still have to worry about the same things when I go and have a baby. I almost died having one of my children. I still have to worry about the same things when I get pulled over by a police officer. So it so it's not that I'm negating that I have a white parent. It's not my fucking job to tell someone that I have a white parent. It's not, because you can still tell that I have black phenotypes. Leilana has black phenotypes. Key has black phenotypes. So whose business of yours is that who I'm fucking? Whose business of yours is it whose fucking crotch I came out of or whose nutsack I came out of? It's not. I'm black. That's it. Period. So I understand where you hear that type of shit when you're 5, when you're 12, you know, stuff like that, where it's like, well, they don't think I'm black, but they don't think I'm white. What the fuck am I? Or they don't think I'm black, so I must be white. Or they don't think they don't think I'm black, so I must be Asian. Or they don't think I'm Asian, so I must be black. It's that internal identity crisis that it causes. So while opinions shouldn't matter, they do.
Trust me, I get it. I had those same issues when I was younger. And I'm not saying that we're not going to have that as mixed people. We are going to have that. But the sooner we start to realize that I'm not living for you, I'm living for me, that's when it changes in your life. You can't always fight with what somebody thinks about you. You're going to waste your time and your energy when you can be building yourself up. It does take time, and it does take work, and it does take patience to grow through that stuff. But that's why we're having these discussions, to help those young people understand that you can overcome it. Period.
Oh, definitely. I just didn't want to take away from the fact that there are people out there who have to hear this shit when they're young. And that internal struggle is valid. However, you know, like you said, at some point you got to realize you are who you are. So I just wanted to make that clear for, you know, the people watching, because I know where you're coming from, because we've had this discussion plenty of times off screen, but I just wanted to make it clear for the people watching. And that actually is a great segue into the next question I have for y'all. Do y'all have any words of wisdom or input for someone who is growing up mixed, someone who may be grown up in mixed and still don't know where the fuck they should apply themselves or how to feel? Do y'all have any words for people like that? Who want to go first? I will pick a bitch, because I am a fickle bitch.
I'll go.
Okay.
I stay off TikTok. No, I'm just kidding. I would say, you know, for growing up mixed, it also, I feel like depends on your parent, because now some parents really, if they have a mixed child, they will, like, if a white woman has a mixed child, they will go off and research, you know, how to do their hair, and, you know, they will educate themselves. But I think kids who are growing up in a mixed home or biracial, they're able to, like, access to internet, educate yourself on your history and your culture, and reach out to your community. I I for me, like, I'm 41, so like growing up back in the 80s and 90s, it's very much different from, like, say, my daughter who's 7. So I like that you have access to internet, and it's, there was a black president, so there's so much you can access. But I would say is really just to educate yourself on your own culture is the main thing.
Yeah, that's some great advice. Key, you got something?
I would say just knowing that, how do I want to say this? I would say just knowing that when it comes to like your blackness, or whatever you're mixed with, whether it be black and white, black and Asian, black and Mexican, whatever you're mixed with, no one can take away your history. No one can take away what's in you. Regardless what people tell you, what's in you is something that can never change. And I feel like once you really get that down, no matter what someone says, it's not gonna matter. Because even with the black community, they're going through the same thing when it comes to Africans. Whether they're actually true Africans or not, they are going through the same exact thing. You can't change what's in you. You have your bloodline, you have your lineage, like I said. So I think once you get that and you remember that, nothing anyone says is really gonna matter.
Yeah, I like that. V, got any words?
So I would just say this, and this is just for people in general, black, white, mixed, indifferent. Take time once a day, once a week. I'll y'all how young y'all take time and work on yourself and your feelings on how you feel about you. You can't change someone else's opinion of you if you can't fix how you feel about yourself. And most of the time, when those opinions hurt us, it's because somewhere in our subconscious, we have that same thought about ourselves. I've learned that just through my mental health journey within itself. But definitely take time to rest your mind, uh, feed your mind, read a book. Don't Google everything because Google ain't always right. Read a book, educate yourself, and what those ladies have said as well are very, very big things that you have to do. But definitely work on your mental health. I think it's a big thing.
And speaking of educating yourself, Key, do you have that book? Let's hear it, girl. Let's hear it.
So there's like a few different I'm not a good reader. Okay, so there's a few different ones. So like, where did you want me? There's like The Making of a Slave, the process of breaking process of an African woman.
Whatever you feel like the people need to hear today.
Okay, so I want to find the one. Actually, there's a whole part in this specifically about mixed children and how they were first created. They were actually created. Well, I don't like the word created, but what white men, the reason why they had mixed children originally was so that Black people wouldn't know, they wouldn't be able to basically know where they came from, right? Like, you would be intermixing with like white people and stuff, so there would be no place for them to trace back to. Plus it also caused division within the Black community as far as like skin tones. They would treat others, mixed children, more like, obviously they would treat them better because to cause division in the Black community. But yeah, let me see if I can find in this book.
Well, let us know when you got the passage. And while we're
Okay.
waiting on that, do you, V, and Leilana have any book recommendations for? this type of stuff, or even just like loving yourself, because let's face it, this all stems from white supremacy and anti-blackness. So do you guys have any book recommendations that could help people?
The book that I always recommend to mixed people, no matter what they are mixed with, is The Vanishing Half. It is basically about a mixed person that is black and white, but it does hit on other different areas of the mixed experience. And for like a self-help book, the best thing you can do for self-help and self-love is to journal. And whatever you look at the most, whether it's the mirror in your bathroom or your phone, give yourself a little daily reminder of how wonderful you are.
I like that. Definitely. We need to understand that all black is beautiful, no matter how it looks. Leilana, you got one?
I don't really got any books. I definitely agree with with the self-love. And what I usually do is I do have a journal. I like to meditate. And I think it's I would also recommend really as unplugging from your social media apps for a day out of the week. I mean, that's what I cope. That's why sometimes I go really quiet on all social media platforms, because it's just sometimes I feel like you need to unplug from that.
Yeah, I think we as a general society have lost the importance of unplugging and just being okay with just being, if that makes any sense. Not worrying about likes and views and shares and followers and all that dumb shit. Just unplug. I mean, and definitely make sure that the people who claim that are there for you are there for the right reasons, because sometimes it be your best friends that'll be spewing that anti-blackness into your head. It'll be the people that claim to love you who will sit there and say that, you know, will challenge your blackness or just challenge you as a human being and say that you're not good enough. For me, and this is going out to any mixed people who are unsure of their heritage and unsure of their history as being a black person, The Miseducation of a Negro and The New Jim Crow, I think, is very important reading for someone who has only heard things from the white supremacy side of it. And it looks like Key has found her passage. So go ahead, girl.
Okay, so I'm just going to read The Breaking of an African Woman, because I feel like since we are all Black women here, I feel like this would be the best. Okay, so The Breaking Process of an African Woman. So it says, take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desires willingly. Test her in every way, because she is the most important factor for good economics. If she shows any sign of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract that last bit of resistance out of her. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so, you spoil your good economic. When in complete submission, she will train her offsprings in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age. Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we shall go deeper into the area of the subject matter concerning with what will, concerning what we have produced here in the breaking process of the female. Can I say the word?
Go ahead.
Will it like?
We're
This
not
isn't on
censoring
YouTube, right?
ourselves here.
Okay. So let me go back. Okay, so in the breaking process of the female nigger, when we have reversed the relationship in her natural uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male, and she would have a limited protective tendency toward her independent male offspring, and she would raise male offsprings to be dependent like her. I'll just finish this little part. I think this is really small. Yeah. So nature have provided for this type of balance. We reverse nature by burning and pulling a civilized nigger, apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence. By her being alone, left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed, the ordeal caused her to move from her psychological dependent states to a frozen independent state, which is where we kind of are now, with Black women being independent. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offsprings in reversed roles. So what do y'all think about that?
What y'all think about what Key just read? Somebody.
Again, the last part.
Good. Leilana.
It's so fucked up, I know.
It's so fucked up. I mean, oh my gosh.
What y'all think in the comments?
So basically, by destroying the male image, it causes a dependent relationship with her slave master, and causes her to be more independent, which in verse causes her to raise her children in reversed roles. So the females being independent and the males being dependent.
And I think that speaks on the dynamic that goes on today in the Black community. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, but they don't care.
But it's, I think, also understanding that like Black women being independent is because they don't feel protected. And I think Black men should be really understanding of this. And I highly recommend everyone to read this and understand why Black women are stuck in this independent role that we are currently in.
Yeah, definitely. So what y'all think of this panel? Key, Leilana, I don't know what V's doing, but she here with the stream.
It was really nice. It was my first time ever doing something like this, so it was really, really interesting. I liked it. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Me too. I liked it.
V, are you there? Okay.
I think maybe her thing fell again. I think it fell last time.
No,
right?
she's in, but I think she might have stepped away for a second.
Okay.
So if you could choose someone to be on this podcast, who would you choose? However, they have to be someone that you could get to agree to come on here. Who would y'all like to see?
There is, I don't know her name, but she is like, she always speaks on the mixed experience, and she has a very large platform on TikTok. But she is absolutely amazing. Like, she always makes videos on the mixed experience. I feel like she would be perfect for this panel. I'll send you her.
Well, and I don't just mean as a mixed person. It can be anyone, because we do talk about things other than just being mixed.
Okay. I thought you meant like
it
on
could
this
be
particular
anyone.
subject. Oh, okay. I thought you meant on this particular like subject that
No,
we're speaking at. Okay.
so-
So you mean like in general, like
Yes.
oh, okay, let me get back to you. Let me just think of like my favorite, like
Okay, V, Leilana, do y'all have anyone that you would like to see on here?
Oh my gosh, I don't know her name. I'll have to like send you her because she's on TikTok, and she has like she's mixed, and she has red curly hair. Gosh, what is her name? I'll have to send it to you because I would like to see her, because she I guess she'd be considered white presenting, but to me, when I look at her, I'm like, she's black. So and I know people come for her in the comments a lot, so I'll send you her at.
Definitely. V?
Like just in general, my favorite TikToker is the Piku lady.
The what?
Hello, my friend. That woman. I love her to death. She's Indian. She's freaking hilarious, and she puts a smile on my face every day. So if I could just hear her talk for like 10 minutes, I'll be fine with that. But to speak on this type of subject, my boy Conscious Lee. Like,
oh yeah,
but the catch was it has to be somebody that you can get on here. If you got the hookup for Conscious, let me know. I mean, I'd love to have him on here.
I mean, I call him my boy because I just feel like that's my boy. Like,
oh my god, you
like
should
go
see
back
if he
like
get
if you can help get on here, who would you pick?
If you could get Modern Warrior, I would love to see him on here. But there is another one. Casper, what is her name? It's like she is Asian, and I love her calm bags. Like, she is so awesome. I think Casper was trying to get her on his panel. I can't think of her name. Casper, help me out.
Huh? Who are we talking about?
So it's the one Asian girl that I always send you like her videos of. She's so amazing, you guys. Like, she goes in. I love her so much. I sent you her stuff and you're like, yeah, I've been trying to get her on mine too.
Another really good one is Aunt Karen.
Ooh, love her.
Chef's Kiss. Put her on she's her own
She's
show.
so cute.
She's her own news channel.
Yeah, I love her.
So y'all know what to do. Go ahead, spam Consciously, Modern Warrior, and Aunt Karen, and tell them they need to come on to the zone. Because I would love to interview all three of them. Like, honestly,
I'm sure you could probably get what is his name that was on last time with Casper. Oh my god, I forgot his name. But you sent me like a who?
Kez.io.
Yeah, you could get him. I'm pretty sure he would do it.
I'm down. I have questions.
Yeah, sure. I'll work on that. I'll hit him up.
I have questions. That's it. But yeah, thank you to the beautiful ladies who came on this panel. I think this conversation was very educational and informative. And I think that we can all agree that just like the Black experience, the mixed experience is not monolithic. Words hurt. And if you think I'm not Black, kiss my whole ass. Everybody have a good night. Y'all stay on the stream for a little bit after we end. And to everybody out there, don't be a dick. Good night.